Hello, ako si Rambo Talabong at kasama natin ngayon ang ating health reporter, pandemic czar ng Rappler, si Sofia Tomacruz. Kami
Hello.
ngayong araw, hello. Ngayong araw nag-cover kaming dalawa ni Sofia ng House Good Government and Public Accountability Panel Probe sa napakahabang issue na naman na Pharmally, Michael Yang at ang pinakamalaking balita nga noong nakaraang linggo dito sa hearing na ito ay ang pagbalik o pagpunta ni Krizle Mago sa House of Representatives para sa protective custody. Ngayong umaga ay nag-testify siya at ito, ang aming Rappler Recap sa 3 oras na hearings na ginawa ng House. Kung meron kayong mga katanungan, kita namin ang comments nyo kung saan man kayo. Susubukan namin sagutin. Pero as always, kaming mga Rappler reporter, meron na rin kaming mga outline from the biggest takeaways that we got from this hearing. So magsisimula ako. Ako si Rambo, ang congressional reporter ng Rappler. Si Krizle Grace Mago, marami na kayong sinabi rin noong nakaraang linggo. Sabi niyo maaaring mag-recant siya. At tama yung hinala ng mga nagsabi last week. Nag-recant nga si Krizle Grace Mago sa House of Representatives. Para sa mga hindi nakakakilala kay Krizle Mago, siya ay ang former corporate representative ng Pharmally para sa Duterte government. So siya ay nagpapakita para sa mga transactions at opisyal siya. Pero ngayong araw, sinabi niya na ano na daw siya, former employee siya. But at the same time, mahalaga pa rin natin malaman kung ano yung kanyang testimony kasi bahagi pa rin siya na formally nung nangyari yung mga billion peso deals sa Duterte government. At anong sinabi niya sa House of Representatives? Well, yun nga, in-scrap niya kung anong sinabi niya sa Senado. 3 bagay ang aking nilagay sa aking storya na kanyang in-scrap, kanyang nirikant. Una, she denied the statement of Pharmally warehouse employee saying that the face shields delivered to the Duterte government were expired or substandard. Hindi daw expired, hindi daw substandard yung mga face shields na pinadala sa Duterte government. Ito contrary sa kanyang sinabi sa Senado kung saan kalmado niyang sinabi na tama, talagang substandard, talagang expired yung pinadala. Ngayon, sabi niya hindi totoo yun. Pangalawa, sabi ni Krizle Grace Mago, she now denied that she was instructed to change the manufacture dates of face shields delivered to the Duterte government. Sabi niya sa Senado, kung matatandaan niyo, kalmado rin niya sinabi na I cannot deny that. Hindi daw pwedeng i-deny na pinapalitan sa kanya yung mga petsa kung kailang ginawa yung face shields na natanggap ng gobyerno. Alam natin na ang manufacture dates ang sinasabi 2020, 2021, pero effectively, kung pinalitan itong manufacture dates, syempre nagbabago rin ang expiration dates. Yung pagpalit dun sa mga certificate of production ay pinalitan. At yun ang kanyang kinonfirm nung Senate hearing noong September 24. Pero ngayon, sabi niya, hindi namin yung pinalitan, hindi namin yung pinalitan. Pero dahil pinakinggan natin na maigi yung kanyang testimony, alam natin na pinalitan pa rin siya. I-explain ko siya in a bit. Pangatlo, she no longer believed that Pharmally swindled the government. Kasi di ba tinanong din siya sa Senado, so do you think that you were able to swindle the Duterte government, the government, the Philippines, the Filipino people? Sabi rin niya, yes. Effectively, yun din yung kanilang ginawa according to Krizle Grace Mago. Pero ngayon, sabi niya, I do not believe that we were swindling the government. Ang sabi ni Krizle Grace Mago, yung kanya daw testimonya sa Senado ay out of pressure at sabi din niya ay hindi daw siya nasa tamang pag-iisip. I was not in the proper state of mind. Yun ang pagkakasabi ni Krizle Grace Mago. So talagang pagbabaliktad to ng kanyang testimonya sa Senado. Sabi niya talagang nahirapan siya, meron siyang pressure na nararamdaman. Hindi na rin bago yung kanyang kinuwento ngayon sa House na ang dami niyang pressure na nararamdaman, marami siyang takot na nararamdaman habang inkomunikado siya sa Senado. Kasi nung hindi siya nagpapakita sa Senado, nagtatago daw siya. At last week nga ay nag-reach out siya sa House of Representatives. Pero ayun nga, ito ang pangalawang story na sinulat natin dito sa hearing na to na sinulat ko, ay hindi naman talaga idinideny pa rin ni Krizle Grace Mago na pinalitan nila ang manufacturer at saka ang expiration dates ng face shields. Bakit? Kasi sa Pharmally, kailangan nyo makinig dito kasi medyo mahaba at saka matumal na proseso to pero mahalagang maintindihan nyo to. Yung face shields ng Pharmally daw kasi, yung kanilang warehouse, ay either individually packed or group packs. So, kung alam niyo yung mga face shields, di ba parang nasa box siya, tapos tinatanggal mo siya doon, meron ganung packing system sila. Mag-isa lang yung face shield or nakagrupo sa isang plastic lamang, isang package, 10. Pero dito daw sa mga face shields na meron sila, doon sa grupo-grupong face shields, maaaring meron isa, dalawa, tatlo, or hindi niya in-specify yung number, pero meron daw mga sira doon sa group packs na yon. So, hindi daw pwede nilang itapon lahat-lahat itong 10-10 mga face shields kung iisa lang naman daw yung sira. Ang instructions daw sa kanila ay i-keep pa rin nila yung mga ayos na. So, itapon yung mga sira, pero i-maintain yung mga hindi naman sira. At yung mga hindi sira, yung mga ayos lang naman daw na face shield, ay pwede pagsamasamahin to another 10-pack. So, yung mga 10 packs na may sira, tinanggal yung mga sira, yung mga natira, pinagsama-sama, mga bagong 10 packs ito. Pero kung ginawa itong prosesong to kasi, may mga certificates of production na bago. Kasi merong mga certificates of production na galing sa nabawasan na. So, mas kaunti yung number of 10 packs at mas marami yung certificates. Kasi maraming tinapon, di ba, na face shields. So, yung mga face shield manufacturer dates certification, yung iba doon ay tinapon. At yung ibang face shield ay mali yung kanilang certificate of manufacture. So effectively, napalitan pa rin your certificate of manufacture, yung expiration date, yung manufacture date certification ng mga face shields na natanggap ng Filipino government, ng Filipino people, ng mga healthcare workers natin. Pero inulit na naman ng House of Representatives yung line of questioning nila last time na kahit naman expired yan, sinabi nito ni Krizle Grace Mago, kahit na napalitan man yung certificate of manufacture, kung nagbago man yung expiration date na yan, nagamit naman na maayos tong face shield. At hindi naman daw siya expired at that time kasi yung mga face shield daw ay 36 months naman daw yung shelf life. So inulit ni Krizle Grace Mago ito, kahit sinasabi niya na nirepack nila yung mga face shield na maaaring pinalitan man daw itong mga expiration date, eh nagamit naman ng Duterte government ng mga healthcare workers. Nasa ko naman kayo ngayon kay Sofia na nag-cover din sa hearing at meron din siyang sinulat na mahalagang bagay tungkol dito sa hearing na ito. Sofia?
Right. So isa pang malaking takeaway sa latest House hearing is isang part ng testimony ni Mago sa House hearing na isang sentence lang siya pero importanteng takeaway din to. At sinabi ni Mago na parang yung the face shields required by the Department of Health for this specific contract, so yung contract for Pharmally, are non-medical grade face shields, and this is also stated in the technical specifications. So bakit mahalaga tong statement? Well, first of all, it's important to try and unpack that statement because in the Senate, one reason why the tampering of manufacturing dates and face shields became an issue is because they're also medical grade. And Senator Risa Hontiveros had presented a witness sa previous hearing who was saying that they believe that the face shields were supposed to be for health workers kasi yung mga boxes daw may label dyan for DOH. So, itong witness na to is just isa siya sa mga warehouse staff ng Pharmally. So, may first-hand experience siya handling these items. And so, when Mago gave that statement that face shields required by the Department of Health for this specific contract are not medical grade, it brings to light further questions na, so ano ba yung face shields na na-deliver sa DOH? Medical grade ba ito or not? And were they actually used and given to health workers? Because we know that health workers, being in hospitals, would require PPE. And PPE has to be medical grade for it to be effective and to keep health workers protected in these high-risk spaces. So, part din ng statement ni Mago in denying that she thought that in denying her earlier statement that Pharmally had swindled the government, she was saying that she realized after assessing her testimony at the Senate that this wasn't true for her because she was saying, and I quote, she said, "I realized that the face shields that we partially delivered to the Department of Health have not been inspected and accepted. So hindi pa rin siya na-allocate and na-distribute." Which we noticed is actually in conflict with some things that were supposedly earlier established in House hearings, where lawmakers were saying that there's no loss to the government because even if let's say these face shields had different manufacturing dates, which we again found in this hearing, sabi na walang loss naman kasi nagamit lahat. And now Mago is saying that there was no swindling that took place because she realized that it was only partially delivered and these weren't allocated yet or distributed. So it's another big question that unfortunately was not completely resolved in this hearing. And isa pang malaking takeaway was na-raise ulit yung issue ng advanced inspection reports prepared for PPE items that came from China. So sabi ng mga former PSDBM officials, specifically the former chief of the PSDBM's inspection division and the former chief accountant, they were again explaining that uh, inspection reports were prepared in advance to facilitate the advance payment of for items for PPE items coming from China, which they repeated arguments that they've been saying in the previous hearing that we had to do this because the Philippines needed PPE items badly and it was early in the pandemic and all these things. Pero um, isang development naman sa issue na to was lawmakers asked the PSDBM, the former PSDBM officials, if they thought that this counted as falsification of documents. Sabi naman nila na parang hindi daw sa understanding nila kasi may coletilia daw sa or condition sa ICAR, the inspection report, saying that it still needed to be inspected upon delivery. And arrival in the Philippines. And this was something that both the former PSDBM Inspection Chief George Mendoza said, and this is something that the former PSDBM Chief Accountant Raul Catalan agreed with and echoed. Pero we should remember also that in the Senate, the senators were telling Catalan and Mendoza that it's not as simple as saying that it's not as simple as saying those things, and they also repeated in the House that they said Lao didn't give them any specific instruction for that, but that there was a general directive overall that they prioritize the procurement of PPE from China. So sabi naman ng mga senador sa mga statement ni Mendoza at ni Catalan that it's not as simple as saying you just relied on general instruction, because the conclusion would be that you did it on your own. And then they told the two former officials to perhaps consult with their lawyers, because ever since Lao left in June, they're the ones left holding the bag, quote unquote. Pero mukhang hindi pa resolve tong issue, or mukhang hindi sila nag-consult siguro or about the issue, because here in the House they maintain the line that it's not falsification and that advance payments were made, which they admitted is not regular, and that advance inspection reports were made, which they admitted again it was not regular, but all under the argument that the Philippines needed to secure PPE items at that time. So yeah, again, like the previous issue, unfortunately, medyo unresolved pa tong advanced inspection reports, and hopefully this is something that will be brought up later on in the Senate, because tama ba, Rambo, ito na yung last House hearing?
Yes. So this is the last House hearing. Originally, actually, ang pakay ng House of Representatives ng committee na ito ay tapusin na last week pa lang, ng third hearing. This is actually the fourth and last. But the original plan is just the third would be the last. But it was during that time, ahead of that third hearing, na nagsalita si Krizle Grace Mago sa Senado. Kaya biglang may isa na namang hearing. At yun yung hearing today. May gusto ko pa idagdag, Sophia?
No, we'll see everyone in the Senate.
Okay. So ito na yung conclusion sa House hearing. Kung ulitin natin talagang itong procedure sa House of Representatives, it's more of in defense of the Duterte government. It's more of reactive to the findings at the Senate. Kung ano man ang lumabas sa Senado, dinedepensahan sa House of Representatives, sa Kamara ng mga congressman natin. At umaabot siya sa punto na yung mga congressman na nagsasalita dito sa hearing na to ay ginagamit ni Pangulong Duterte sa kanyang addresses na pinagtatanggol siya. Pakinggan mo si Marcoleta, pakinggan mo si David Suarez, pakinggan niyo si Agripay. Pero yung Senado, inaatake nila. At dahil ito ang last hearing na, wala nang bagong hearing sa House of Representatives, at ang aabangan na lang natin dito ay ang committee report, kung ano man ang recommendation ng ating mga congressman dito pagkatapos ng hearing na ito. Pagkatapos nito ay merong Senate hearing kinabukasan. Hindi natin alam kung last na ito, pero ang sabi naman ng House of Representatives ay hindi nila ipagdadamot si Krizle Mago sa Senado. So maaari magsalita pa rin si Krizle Mago sa Senado, at hopefully mas mabigyan niya ng klaridad kung ano ba talagang katotohanan dito, kasi binaliktad niya kung anong sinabi niya sa Senado, at sinabi nga rin sa kanya ni Committee Chairman Mike Agripay pwede siyang kasuhan dito. Ang sabi naman ni Krizle Mago ay handa siyang makasuhan. Yan ang latest sa House of Representatives. Ako si Rambo Talabong, ang congressional reporter ng Rappler. Kasama ko si Sophia Tomacruz, ang aming health reporter, pandemic czar. Kung meron pa kayong mga katanungan, nakita ko yung mga comments, puro comments ito. Hindi siya maraming mga tanong, at sa tingin ko nasagot naman namin ito. Panoorin niyo yung aming coverage bukas sa Senado rin at saka makakasama niyo ulit si Sofia bukas. Tama ba, Sofia?
Yes, at kasama din yung mga ibang Rappler reporter kagaya ni Lian Buwan at si Mara Cepeda, Senate reporter naman.
Ayun, kung meron pa kayong katanungan na hindi nyo naitanong dito sa comment section, tag nyo lang kami. Ako si @Rambo Report at si Sofia Toma Cruz sa Twitter. Ito ang Rappler Recap. Maraming salamat sa panonood.